Hello everybody, Salty Sweet Ren here, back with another episode of Swooning Over Stans, the Grunkle dating sim. The fan-made dating simulator based on Gravity Falls, which you guys love the Swooning Over Stans series. I was just checking today, and one of the videos, apparently in the last 48 hours, got like over 40 views. And keep in mind, this is like, I'm recording this, it's still March right now, it's March 20th. By the time this comes out, it'll probably be like sometime in the middle of April, I believe. But, regardless, I am back with more Swooning Over Stans, and I'm going to be doing the Stan route this series, because the forward route I have done. I may go back someday and like try and get it perfect, but as it is, I have not done the Stan route yet. I've done part of it, but like it was back on my old laptop, and there were a lot of recording issues that happened over time, and it was kind of a mess. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue with this one, and you wake to the weak glare of sunlight streaming in through the small high window in the wall. You can't remember your room having this kind of feature, or any hotel or motel room for that matter. And then yesterday comes crashing back to you. I cannot read today. Wow. There's the music. Okay. Sorry, I just like music. You glance at the time to see that you've slept into the afternoon. Experiencing the accident yesterday must have left you tired out. Despite having been assured yesterday evening that you were free to anything in the fridge, you still feel like you're imposing on the Pines family and try preparing as polite a guest breakfast as you can. You wash your dishes in the sink before you leave, and just as you're about to exit the kitchen, you bump into Ford.
Yes, from yesterday, of course.
For a good solid moment, Ford regards you with an awkward silence. Ford clears his throat.
I believe Stanley is taking a look at your car outside, if you want to be there for it.
You give a nod and make to leave for real this time when Ford speaks up again.
And, Ren, I'm sorry again for the accident. If I'd been smarter about... Well, let's just say it's entirely my fault, and you shouldn't worry about this at all. When it comes down to it, Stanley does have a knack for cars. I predict you'll be back on the road in a matter of weeks.
Weeks? You can't keep the dismay off your face, and can't really bring yourself to try to, either. What am I gonna do with weeks? Ford, who'd gone kind of uncomfortable and closed off when your face fell, recovers at the prospect of a question he can answer.
Well, there's the town tour, of course. And the Mystery Shack. But if you ask me, all that pales in comparison to... Hold on, do you hear that?
Ford turns to the kitchen doorway to investigate.
Sounds like...
The sound comes again, and this time you hear it as well. The squeal of a pig, followed by a pair of quick footsteps running down the stairs. Waddles tumbles past the open kitchen doorway, and Mabel comes into view soon after, a few sheets of paper clutched in hand. Ford quickly steps out of the kitchen, and you follow to the doorway, getting there just in time to see the apparent tug-of-war between Mabel and her pig over a saliva-covered sheet of paper. The paper rips, and after nearly toppling backward from her efforts, Mabel recovers, snatching the scrap of ripped paper from Waddle's jaws and lifting both pieces up victoriously.
Ha-ha! Mabel wins again! Now I just gotta find Uncle Ford!
Ford, who'd run forward and held a hand out to steady this energetic child when she'd been in danger of toppling over, now finds a number of crumpled sheets of paper shoved into his hands. Mabel tugs urgently at his coat.
Uncle Ford, you have to help me!
Ford kneels down to face Mabel with a serious, though concerned, look.
Slow down, Mabel. What's the matter?
Dipper found a stack of pages from your old journals, and I walked in and Waddles ran up and started eating one, and he must have been chewing on it to warn me, Grunkle Ford, because, look!
Mabel takes the ripped halves of paper back from Ford's hand and joins them together, holding it up for Ford to see.
I see. And you took it as a warning?
Yes! It says here that he eats small dogs, and Waddles is a small pig, but he looks sort of like a dog from far away, and Waddles must have feared for his life!
Waddle seems to second this notion with a snort. Or not, as it seems the pig is lounging adorably a short distance away in the hallway. You can't imagine what this dangerous predator could be. Some kind of wolf? Something bigger? You're suddenly not so keen on staying anymore.
Remember the pterodactyl I told you about? Waddles was so scared at that time, I can't let him leave my side!
Pterodactyl? You suppose pigs are allowed in museums around here? That was a fun episode.
How about I finish that repellent I never got around to completing? That will keep Waddles safe from harm.
Mabel flops down the floor in relief.
Grunkle Ford, you are an actual lifesaver! Waddles, you have nothing to fear!
Ford chuckles, lifting himself out of the kneel and standing back up.
Alright, I'll go get my recipe.
Ford turns to leave, and you suddenly remember that with nothing better to do for the weeks you're going to be here, it wouldn't hurt to get to know Ford. He seems to know what there is to do around town anyway, and you'll need that to not die of boredom in the first week. Or, more pressingly, you could go check on your car and see what Stan's made of it so far. You're not exactly eager to face seeing your car in the side of the house again, though. So, what should I do? When I last did this series, back 2-3 years ago, it was a long time ago, I think it was 2017? 2018? It's been such a long time for me. It was so long ago for me. But I did Ford's route. Most of Ford's route, at least. This time, I'm going to be doing Stan's route, so I'm going to go check on my car. After Ford leaves, Mabel rolls away with her pig towards the living room, and you head out of the house in search of Stan. The mystery shack should only have 4 main sides, but you feel like you've made your rounds past 5 of them before finally seeing your absolute wreck of a car. You swear it looks even worse than it did when you crashed it. And I don't know how that's possible. I still have the same car I did the last time. My car is already an absolute wreck. I think it's actually starting to die on me. I cannot get it to start, lately. Or at least it takes such a long time to start. Oh my gosh. Stan stands before it, hands on his hips as he looks at the large wooden S that's made its indent in the car's hood. How bad is it?
Okay. Can't tell yet. Not till I get this letter off the hood. That S never did like to stay in place.
Mystery hack, huh?
Look, if you're gonna insult me... Oh, you were reading the sign. I'm fixing that later, alright? Just avert your eyes, don't look at it.
Oh boy. My throat. Alrighty. I'm starting to get a little better than it used to be. It's not immediate pain, but still. I will offer to help him. Guess we should fix it as soon as possible, then.
Sounds good to me. Give me a hand here, would ya?
Stan directs you to help him push the wooden S off the car. It stalls a little in its own dent, but with another firm shove, its end meets the ground. Stan gives another push with a grunt, and it tips, falling completely to the ground with a whoop. Now that it's free of its burden, Stan lifts up the dented hood of the car to take a look inside. He hums and haws and rubs a hand over his chin in thought, walking over to his toolbox and grabbing a tool before walking back, still assessing the damage.
Yeah, this one's gonna take a while. You've got parts that need replacing. Not to mention she's not gonna look so hot after this. Not unless Ford's got the tech squirreled away somewhere that can smooth out these dents.
I certainly hope he does. Let me get a drink of water really quick. That is much better. The more he tells you of the situation, the more this all sinks in. You really are stuck here. Stan spots your worried frown.
Hey, Ren, right? Look, I know how this sounds, but with me on the job, you'll be all set and back on that road in no time.
You think so?
Kid, I know so. I've even got a plan to get those replacement parts of yours. Might not be able to clean up all these scuff marks after I'm done, but she'll run. And hey, so maybe you've got to stay a couple days, so what? There are worse places to get stranded, believe me. In fact, I'd even say the Mystery Shack is the best place to get stranded. We've got all tons of stuff for people just passing through. Merchandise, magic, mystery, any other M words, mayhem. You get the idea.
I'm getting a little loud. I have no idea if I'm waking up anyone right now. I mean, I'm recording this like 2 floors down from where everyone else is asleep. But, man, okay. It's easier for me to do Stan's voice when I'm loud. It's easier on my throat. Oh my gosh, my throat is already starting to get sore. Wow, okay. This is why I'm doing shorter episodes. Stan tosses the tool in his hand back in the toolbox, exchanging it for another. He works for a while longer in your silence, metallic clanks and the occasional heavy breath, all that mixes in with the sounds of the outdoors. You stand by, awkward, uncomfortable, and a little useless. Can I help with anything?
Know anything about cars?
No. Stan straightens, cracks his back, and sets down the tool before leaning casually against the nearest load-bearing surface. He wipes his forehead, lets his hand fall to his waist, and gives you an assessing look.
How about collages, tall tales, improv?
Yeah, I think I can handle all that, but what does that have to do with this? You just are at your stranded car, held in limbo between life and death by nothing other than Stan Pine's car expertise and a little luck.
Nothing. I was planning on having you help just...
Oh boy. Let me get a drink before I do this voice. When I first did this series, I think my episodes were going like an hour long, and I could not maintain the Stan voice quite that long. I used to be so good at the Stan voice. It's been such a long time for me, though. Let's see.
Nothing. I was planning on having you help Zeus around the shack. A favor for a favor. What do you say?
Well, it's more interesting than helping Ford with his pests problem. You accept.
Alright, follow me!
I've got to find where I did my Stan voice in the past. Where is the voice? Where is it? Somewhere in my throat. Where was the comfortablest place for me to do it? You follow Stan back into the Mystery Shack, bypassing the showroom and getting a glimpse of an energetic figure leading a flock of tourists through a veritable sea of obviously fabricated oddities.
You hear the words, "And this is the 9th wonder of the world, right in the Mystery Shack. That's what makes this place world famous, dudes."
Stan notices your pace slowing as you listen and tosses an explanation back for you.
That's Zeus! During operating hours, he's the Mystery Shack's one and only Mr. Mystery. I told him he didn't have to keep the shack running while he's on vacation, but the kid's got a passion for the role. You interested in this kind of stuff?
I was thinking about going on the tour. It feels weird now that you're staying at a tourist trap, though. And you were kind of going to poke fun at the exhibits. Harder to do when you have to live around your tour guide. It's fine, really.
Nah, I think I want to give you a tour of the place. You'll get one from the founder himself. You ever hear one of my plugs on the radio?
You weren't really paying attention to the radio during the drive, just taking in the Oregon scenery.
See the signs pointing to this place for over a mile down the road?
Again, you were pretty preoccupied with the Oregon scenery, but you guessed you did see some signs with question marks on them. That's some vague advertising.
Just saying what works. Bumper stickers, huh? Ha! Still got one on Ford.
I really should not be doing this so well.
Anyway, follow me, folks. Well, folk, get ready to be amazed.
Stan starts leading you back the way you came. You trail behind him, a little skeptical, but definitely curious. Didn't you say the founder would leave this tour? Is Seuss the founder? Stan laughed.
What? No, I'm the founder. Built this place from the ground up. Well, metaphorically speaking. I mean, the house was here, the junk was here, but I was the one who spun this place into a wondrous house of mysterious junk.
Stan gestures with his arms like he's smoothing out a rainbow. You're not very impressed.
Prepare to be amazed!
You're still not very impressed, but his energy gets you hoping you'll be amazed anyway.
There's a tour group. There's a tour group in the showroom right now, so I'll be taking you on a different cycle that group completely misses him. We're starting in the gift shop.
You enter the gift shop, a simple room crowded top to bottom with the standard tour souvenirs and merchandise. You see t-shirts with question marks, mugs with question marks, and pretty much everything has question marks. In one corner of the room stands a lumpy attempt of a statue labeled the Founder, recognizable as Stan only by the nose and glasses.
This room usually comes after I butter the customers up to buying things, but since you'll be staying a while, I have plenty of time to sell you stuff later. Take a look around. If you see an impulse buy, make it. Nothing like trusting your instincts.
Oh man. Here's the thing, I think I have looked through these all in my original Let's Play, because I did like one episode of Stan's routes, and that's about when everything went haywire with my game. So, I will look at the founder statue and the employee of every month thing, but after that I'm going to be done looking. I think everything else I looked at in that, so for the sake of my voice, founder statue?
Yeah, should've asked Mabel to carve it. You gotta admit that every version of me's got a charming smile, though.
Gonna get a drink. I'm so glad I refilled this before I started. Okay, employee of every month.
Seuss has always been the hardest worker in the place. It was only natural to hand it over to him.
And I'm done looking.
You sure? Well, I think I hear the tour group heading out of the showroom anyway.
I just heard,
behold! Now, most tourists don't appreciate nature's artistic genius. By which I mean my artistic genius, because I remembered you're gonna help me out today. You don't think a money-making wonder like the Sasquatch by... You don't think of a money-making wonder like the Sasquatch by having a boring 9-to-5 office job. You think it up when you wonder, why hasn't anyone found the Sasquatch? Could it be that its name has been mispronounced this whole time?
I mean, that is clever. Gotta admit, that is pretty clever.
Anyway, just let me know when you've soaked up enough inspiration from this room, because you're gonna need to use it right after.
Yep. It looks pretty empty in here, I'm afraid. Just gonna be staring at the stand for a little bit. Okay.
Alright, come on. You're gonna see what makes this place a mystery shack, instead of just the shack. We're making another attraction for the showroom.
You follow Stan through the living room to the kitchen, where stuffing and animal parts are strewn across the surface to your left. Stan pulls out the thick needle and spool of thread, and, as an afterthought, adds a couple nails and a hammer to the pile. It seems a little unsanitary to do this right across from the fridge, and has the potential to look almost gruesome if it weren't so oddly cartoonish. He steps up to the workspace and pulls out the googly eyes that have been glued over the lifeless, glassy ones typical of taxidermy. Mabel's contributions to the craft remain firmly intact.
Huh. That's what I get for letting Mabel bring her stash of scrapbooking supplies. That's one more thing to add to the backstory.
Backstory?
What, you don't really think tourists are dumb enough to believe that the thing you're selling them is what you tell them is just like that, do ya? Cause if you do, you'll be set to do business in Gravity Falls. Anywhere else though, customers take a little more work.
I got water dripping down my face, crap. Oh well. That's what I get for doing this.
See, every good piece comes with some kind of story. Or if you're Poindexter, some kind of lore. Horror stories work pretty well because with enough suggestion, people can always find ways to spook themselves. Done it for years, it's kind of an art.
Stan appears nonchalant, but you can see a quiet pride within him. Sounds easy or sounds hard? I mean... it sounds... I'll go with sounds easy. Stan merely looks amused.
Oh yeah? Let's see you take a shot after we put this thing together.
You said you've done this for years?
Always had a knack for it, even when I was a kid. Sure, there was a little learning curve involved, and I've had a few unhappy customers over the years.
Stan pauses, seemingly to reminisce, and the mixed smile grimace on his face tells you he probably had many, many unhappy customers.
But mostly I've had a great business on telling lies. I mean, stories. You're learning from a true master, kid.
So why don't you run this place anymore? Stan's grin melts into something softer, maybe a little bittersweet.
My brother wanted to drag me off on a trip with him. Couldn't say no, and I just couldn't close the place, so I left it all to Seuss. He practically grew up in this place, you know. Definitely wouldn't have entrusted it to Wendy. She's usually the cashier around here in the summer. It's weird having to explain all this to you. I keep thinking you already know this.
I mean, technically I do, but... You work it like you're still a part of this place.
You can take a man out of the mystery shack, but you can never take the mystery out of a man. Specifically me, which is why I'm back to work even though I don't have to. 30 years of the same routine will do that to ya.
What was your original vision for the shack?
Vision? Make money. What other vision do you need?
Yeah, this voice.
But over the years, sure, I've used the mystery line for advertising. Who isn't curious? Who doesn't want to be amazed? Kids are the most skeptical of the bunch, though, let me tell ya. Once they hit about 8 or 9, they love trying to prove it's all fake. Then they get older and realize there's nothing good left in the world unless you pretend there is, and everyone pretends along with you because they're all desperate.
I don't know why this is weirdly making me think of that one scene from the Black Friday musical. With right before that song Made in America. I don't know why it's making me think of that, but that Black Friday is a brand new musical, so you probably, it's very new. I think it came out just sometime near the end of the last year, and it just recently went on YouTube a couple months ago, or a couple weeks ago actually. Anyway, Stan turns his attention back to the workspace, and you notice once more the daunting selection of items that lay upon the table. It's not the number, but the variety that makes you unsure of how you're going to craft something out of this.
Yeah, I don't know what you're gonna do with this stuff. Surprise me!
Stan walks off to the side to, you guess, do some work of his own. You're glad he's not going to watch you the whole way through. How are you going to approach this? As many matching parts, as many disparate parts, or a nice mix of matched and mismatched? Let's see. Keeping it just matched is not very fun. But I have, like, the real me has an eye for, like, making sure, like, some things fit together, but in a specific way. So I think a nice mix of matched and mismatched. Like, it's gotta be fun, but I also want it to be, like, kind of, you know. Now, how should you keep these parts attached? Use some hand stitching and really tie this all together. Use a stapler, it's faster. Or hammer, nails, obviously. I mean, I could do some hand stitching. I know how. Stapler, it depends on the parts. Hammer, nails, I don't know. I'll use some hand stitching. Okay, you have a base to work off of. What next? I'll add some sculpted details or color in some of the fur to accent the googly eyes. You know what? I could do that. Like, if it looks good with the googly eyes, sure. Hey Stan, I'm finished.
Good enough.
Stan picks your disturbing creation up gingerly.
So, what's the story here? Give it to me.
How do I want to approach this? Just have fun with it. This is a Fisquirkin, a fish squirrel chicken. Stan nods appraisingly.
Sounds like you got the hang of this. Alright, this thing's about as close to show ready as it'll get. Wait here a sec.
Stan carries the showpiece out of the room. After a few moments, you hear his footsteps return, and he comes into the room with 2 cans of pit cola. Stan sits one down on the dining table, its condensation starting to slow drip onto the table's surface. He waves you over to join him, and you slide into the seat across from him.
Nothing like a cold one to finish up the day. Cheers!
He picks up his can, gesturing towards you with it as he leans leisurely back in his chair, and you watch as he takes a sip. It's a nice-looking sip, and now you're staring. You pull over your own can and pop it open.
So, got any questions for me? Talking tends to ease me into a new place. Might do the same for you.
I think I might actually go ahead and end this episode here. I know it's not at the bedroom. Oh man, I know it's not at the bedroom, but I cannot keep this up for much longer. And I do want to ask through the questions because I want to get at least a decent result. Hopefully I can figure out how I did the Stan voice in the past to a point that it doesn't hurt my throat. And, I will return to this game at some point in the, next week. I'm going to be trying to, over the week, I'm going to be trying to get back into the swing of the Stan voice, figure out how I used to do it in a way that didn't hurt my throat all the time. But, anyway, if you enjoyed watching this video, hit the like button and leave a comment down below, telling me what your thoughts are. It helps me know that you guys are enjoying the content that I'm producing and lets me, feel more motivated to keep putting it out there for you guys. And go ahead and hit subscribe to watch my videos as they come out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay safe out there, friends.